G'day YouTube, Max right here, and a little bit of a different video today. I want to talk about just the changing narrative of Bitcoin. Now, I just predicted this relatively recently, a few weeks ago, and I want you to really pay attention to this because the narrative is going to change because something big is happening in the world of Bitcoin. So for those of you who don't know, I like to separate Bitcoin into two different promises. It has the promise of Gold 2.0, right? And it has a second promise. The second promise is the world's best payment network, right? Now, the payment network, for large part, has been on ice for the last few years. In 2017, there was a whole debate about, increasing the ability of the Bitcoin network to handle more transactions. There were hard forks. It was a big mess. And ultimately, the community decided on using the Lightning Network as their final solution, acknowledging that it was going to take several years to complete. So all of the fund price appreciation we've had over the last 3-4 years since 2017 has been exclusively because of the Gold 2.0 narrative. And that is there, it is still there, that narrative is there, it's great, it's true, and as governments around the world print more money, it's going to become even more true. And so you have this powerful driver from that first promise of Bitcoin, which is Gold 2.0. Now we are starting to see the Lightning Network come online in a really major way. And El Salvador was just a massive, massive component to that. So I'm going to throw you through some of the stats here, but you can see here that the adoption of, this is the amount of Bitcoin going onto the Lightning Network. Now we have about 18.5 million Bitcoins. We're at 3,000 coins. So we are a baby. We are a baby. This is very, very early days, but you can see the growth is absolutely vertical. All right. When Bitcoins get onto the Lightning Network, it's important to understand, if you're a hodler, if you're using Bitcoin as Gold 2.0, there's no need to put gold on the Lightning Network. In fact, I'd suggest don't do it. Actually, there's no reason, there's no upside to that whatsoever. However, to use as a payment rail system, now we're talking about you have to put it onto the Lightning Network. And what we're seeing is the beginning of this next new narrative in Bitcoin's life cycle. And I want you to understand just how fast it's moving, because it is moving so fast, it's going to make everybody's head spin. I'm telling you right now, over the next few months, right, even a year or two, you are just going to see an explosion of technological introductions or innovations using the Bitcoin network where people use it, don't even know they're using it. You will be using it at the grocery store to pay for your coffee. You will be using it at the checkouts. You'll be using it online. You will be using Bitcoin and you'll have absolutely no idea you are using Bitcoin. What you will do is there'll be money in your bank account, for example. You'll use a credit card or some kind of card, whatever. You'll pay. What happens? The money will come out of your account. It will get turned into Bitcoin. It will get transferred across the world, settled. It will get turned back into whatever currency the vendor wants. And none of the participants will know they were using Bitcoin, right? So you start to understand now how different a narrative this is from what we've been hearing from the last few years. The last few years is go and buy Bitcoin, use your private keys, get a big hodl stash of it. It's like put it under your mattress, wait a few years, it'll go up because they're destroying the currency and this is a much better currency. All of that is still true. And now we have an absolute freight train of a second narrative that is going to massively propel the Bitcoin price in the medium to long term. All right. So just stay tuned for this. Let me share with you some of these stats. So we see the, although it's a baby, we see the adoption just absolutely skyrocketing here. What is over here? This is the cumulative value of transactions on the Bitcoin network. Right? And again, we just see this going absolutely vertical. Again, it really ties into what I was sharing with you in previous videos about the adoption curve. Okay, if you haven't watched my series, Bitcoin for Beginners, that is an absolute must. Link in the description. I think episode 4 or 5 is where we are in the adoption curve. And you can see here, it's just going vertical, right? We're going to see lots more of that. Check out some fun stats here. So this channel's got a lot of cool stuff. So 14,000 Bitcoin ATM transactions each day in El Salvador. Each day. This is nuts, right? What else have we got here? Morgan Stanley doubled its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust holding from 28K to 58K. That's very interesting. However, not what I'm talking about here. Check this out. In El Salvador, there are 65 Bitcoin transactions every second. Every second. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. The Bitcoin network couldn't even handle this. If this was happening on the Bitcoin native chain, it could not even handle this. But on the Lightning Network, it can. And that's where you're about to see Bitcoin absolutely explode. What else is right? This is clutch. This is clutch. So El Salvador, 5.6 million Bitcoin transactions per day. This one, I think, is an absolute jaw dropper. 2.2 million El Salvadorians use a Bitcoin wallet. And I believe that's actual usage, not just downloads. They're actual daily users, right? Here's the clutch. Only 1.8 million people in El Salvador have bank accounts. In the first world, you're going to see we're going to be a little bit slow. We've got really good payment rails. We've got Visa, we've got MasterCard. Yes, they're expensive. Yes, they're riddled with fraud. Yes, they're a pain in the butt. Yes, there's chargebacks. Yes, you need to have a good credit history to even get a merchant account. Yes, but it works pretty darn well, all things considered, for the first world. Bitcoin smokes it, for sure, but we're pretty comfortable, fat, dumb, and happy. We're not going to be racing to the Lightning Network here in the first world. In the developing world, where they can't even get bank accounts, we are talking about all of a sudden, billions of people are going to be jumping on this. You download a free wallet, you've got a bank account, you've got a savings vehicle, your family can remit money to you, zero fees, you don't have to travel to Western Union, no commissions, you didn't have to leave the house to do it. This is going to absolutely explode. It'll lead in the developing world. And they haven't got the capital to, if they realize what's happening, they'll start using it, right? And they might not have the capital to drive the price too hard. But what they're going to do is they're going to bring on billions of users. And with all those users, now there's all these entrepreneurs trying to service those users. And once the rails are in place and the quality of the apps that run on top of the rails are there, you're going to see finally the first world pile into Bitcoin like you have never seen before. The real capital will come in. Now, the smarter we are, the earlier that will happen. So we have to kind of balance that out. Now, to really, I think there's one more study I want to show you. Oh, this is a funny meme worth watching. So this is China banning Bitcoin, taking the water from here and putting it over this wall like it's achieving something. That was a good one. So let's leave it there. But here, one more thing. I want to introduce you to Jack Maulers. He is going to be, I'm going to put him up on the screen now. And I think he does a very, very good job of explaining exactly the significance of the Bitcoin payment rails. Let's do that now.
Yeah, let's talk about Costco. I don't know, random S&P 500, one of the biggest retailers in the world. All right, Costco gets charged, call it a solid 290, 300 basis points to accept a payment from a payment processor like Visa, right? 2.9% for the kids at home. That's a lot of money. All of a sudden, and why? What are they paying for? They're paying for finality. They're paying for the dollars that someone is pledging to pay them to guarantee to settle, because God knows the dollars that are sitting in my pocket, if I go check out at Costco, don't magically appear in the cash register. How does all that fanciness work? Visa takes on the credit risk. Visa takes on the counterparty risk. Visa takes on the balance sheet float. Visa takes on a ton of fixed cost and necessary intermediaries to achieve that settlement. And they charge someone like Costco 2.9% for that. This new monetary network, the Lightning Network, compared to the Visa network, guess how much the Lightning Network charges for finality? Zero. And so let's imagine a world where I go check out at Costco and I tap my phone, scan a QR code, swipe a card, whatever your preference is, I don't care. The dollars are going to leave me, convert to Bitcoin, zip over this new network, the Lightning Network, and then convert back to dollars for Costco. And Costco, I could charge Costco 5 basis points, 0.05% for that. And guess how much of that is profit in my pocket? 100%. You know, if Visa tried to charge 5 basis points, they'd go bankrupt because the fixed costs disallow it. And so we're not only talking about fancy tipping methods on Twitter. I'm talking about disrupting everything, pumping the same way that a Google search or me streaming this on YouTube or me tweeting something, it's all an HTTP request on the internet. A remittance payment, a payment for my Costco, paying my allowance to my kid is all going to be a Bolt 11 Lightning Network invoice, and money is going to consolidate on a singular standard. And those that live in these independent monetary networks are going to die in the same way that newspapers did when the internet came out. Problem. The valuation of PayPal, the market cap of PayPal is a proxy to the network they've built, right? All the merchants on the network, all the users on the network. If I create a new version of Twitter, Pomp, would you download and get on board? No, because there's no one on the network. These companies have built up networks. And so if PayPal becomes interoperable with an open standard, the network goes to zero. When I go to a PayPal merchant, I don't have to use PayPal to check out. I could use whatever the fuck I want. And so they're at a crosshairs. They know they have to innovate. They're not stupid. I mean, these people are moneymakers. They're not dumb. But what do? You just destroy the $300 billion it took you a couple decades to build? It's tough. I don't know. And here's the other thing. In an open network, the best experience and the best brand wins. If that wasn't true and it was whoever got there first, then I'd be using MySpace, right? Okay, so these guys have to invite free market open competition. All of a sudden, if I go check out at a Starbucks and it's out nowadays, if I go to a Starbucks, how are you paying for that coffee? What a stupid fucking question. Either my Visa card or like Apple Pay. What a dumb question. What are you paying with, idiot? If there's an open network standard, how are you paying for that coffee? I'm using my Twitter account to pay for it. I'm using my Facebook account to pay for it. I'm using this pink wallet that my nephew built to pay for it. I'm using an encrypted cypherpunk node in my basement to pay for it. And these people have these closed walled gardens that they've used for years, and I think they're scared of competition as well. So I don't know, and I don't care. In open networks, new participants are additive. So when they do come onto the network, it makes everyone that's already on it stronger. So I mean, either you could join and make me better, or you can resist it and die. But either way, I win. So I don't give a.
Okay, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Is the payment rails network narrative, is it about to explode? Is it going to be even more important than the gold 2.0 narrative? Even though that's still there, and even though that's still driving the price of Bitcoin up, what's this new narrative going to do? How much is it going to change the price? When is it going to change the price? Are you waiting around for some event before you get into crypto, into Bitcoin, or are you doing it now? Let me know in the comments below. Please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Take care.